Okay, so we got Jake here. We've been working together for a couple months. He's made some awesome progress, and he had a lot of challenges when we first started, similar to what a lot of people go through. But he even travels usually every week, for work, where he might be gone for a few days, and it was really limiting his progress. He wasn't comfortable with how he looked and how he felt. He knew he needed to change. So Jake, since we started, you can tell everyone kind of, what you were struggling with the most and why you couldn't, stick to anything.
Absolutely. Thanks, Bruno. So I think the biggest thing that I struggled with is kind of growing up an athlete. I knew how to work out, but diet is never something that I've really focused on or looked at. So I think kind of just getting some very simple guidelines, not even difficult things to do, getting some simple guidelines on like what I should be eating throughout the day. That realization in the first couple days that you're either overeating or undereating pretty much every day, and it's not inclusive of the right stuff. So I think diet was definitely the biggest thing I struggled with. I just didn't really know exactly what to do, and when although I knew what I should be eating, I wasn't necessarily doing it in the right way or doing it consistently. So having someone to work with, being able to kind of just lean on someone or have someone that I can ask questions to about what's a low calorie this or that, or how can I get to my numbers when I need to, has been really, really helpful for me.
That's great, man. I think, it's tough because you hear so many things on what you should be doing. But for you, it's like you knew you needed to make a change. It's like you just needed okay, just give me the guidelines and I'll follow them. And that's what's why you've been really successful, in my opinion. And I guess, let's talk about, kind of the results that you've gotten just I think it's been about 2.5 months or 2 months. So yeah, talk about those a little bit because they've been really good.
So 2.5 months, I'm down about 20 pounds. Probably a month or so was a majority of my weight loss. And I've been a little bit more stagnant since then from a weight standpoint. But one of the things and one of the honestly most helpful things that I've kind of learned throughout the process is just tracking other body stats as well. Not focusing just on weight. So that way, even if your weight is stagnant, you can still see progress elsewhere. So that's another thing that I've never really done, taking measurements, things like that on a weekly, bi-weekly basis, and progress photos, honestly, helping to just to keep me motivated, because when you step on the scale and the number is the same as it was the last week, you think about all those situations where you were in, where you made the right decision and you're still not seeing the, I guess, quote unquote results you're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
But weight's only one of the numbers that you should kind of be paying attention to, and that's not something I've done previously.
Yeah, I mean, no one likes doing progress photos. No one's in a spot. I don't really like doing them. But when people start this, you're not in a spot where you're comfortable with how you look. That's why you want to change it. But I mean, you see that change, and it's just you get the big kick on oh yeah, this is working really well.
Yep.
I guess another thing, touch base on just kind of how you because you had some challenges just traveling a lot and then just being able to understand what balance is. I think we hear it all the time. Oh, you can have a balance of, spending, you spend a lot of times with your friends, you go to a golf outing. Talk about that, kind of how, basically how we've set you up, how you've been set up for success there.
Yep. So one of the things I've liked most about doing this is that flexibility. I can have a drink, I can have some cake, I can have whatever, whether it's ice cream, I can have whatever I want. I just have to make sure it fits into my overall kind of plan for the day. So that's not to say every day is perfect, because it's not.
Mm-hmm.
You can make the best plan in the world, and occasionally it's going to fall through. Shit happens, but it's I think planning is a big part of it. As far as travel goes, I'm in a hotel room once, twice a week, kind of away, on an airplane a couple times a week. So a couple of the things that I found most helpful for me there is really just bringing food with me, bringing protein bars or protein shakes or beef jerky or tuna fish or something like that. That's easy, that's quick, it's rich in macros from a protein standpoint, and it allows me to kind of avoid grabbing McDonald's or grabbing some junk food at the airport, because that's all I have time for. So it has been difficult, but I think the more you can plan, the more you kind of think about what you're going to be eating throughout the day before that day even happens, the more successful you're going to be.
I think, that's awesome. And you have those tools now. Now you can use them, and it's not like this all or nothing thing. That happens to a lot of people. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, and even when I know I'm having a bad day, there's still better decisions being made. So instead of having, a Coke with dinner or something like that, I'll have a water. So even though I might let it get away from me occasionally, like I'm still able to kind of rein it in and at least be conscious of the decisions I'm making around food, as opposed to just kind of passively shoving stuff into my mouth.
Yeah. Yeah, I think just working with you, and we've talked about this, like you have been putting into work, like and this is the biggest thing with anyone, whatever you're going to start, you really understand it's your decision. And a lot of people don't do that. So I just, I'll give you big props for understanding that. And it's like when you don't have a very good week, it's like, you're just like, yeah, like I could have made some better decisions. So I think that's really important. Pretty happy with your experience overall so far?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, great.
I mean, the past like 5 years or so, I've done numerous kind of, I don't want to say crash diets, but workout programs, and trying to watch what I eat. And I've been pretty stagnant from a weight and progress standpoint. So this is the first time I've seen results in quite a while.
Awesome.